Welcome back, panelists here. NBC News senior Washington correspondent Hallie Jackson, anchor of Hallie Jackson Now on NBC News Now. Marc Short, former chief of staff to former Vice President Mike Pence, and the Reverend Al Sharpton, host of Politics Nation on MSNBC and the president of the National Action Network. Hallie, I used the cliche at the beginning. We always say, a week is a lifetime in politics. Holy cow.
We've all aged a decade, yes.
Everything feels like, well, everything we thought we knew literally a week ago at this time about the craziness in the House Republican side, Biden looking like he was above the fray. It's all done. It's all changed.
So, and it was interesting to me to hear your conversation with Senator Stabenow when you asked her about some Democratic frustration with the way that this has gone, with the president, with the way that the White House has handled the transparency issue on these documents, that she pivoted right away to say, well, the line that we keep hearing from the White House, inadvertent, and we told them right away, right? Because that speaks to the intent issue. Let me tell you what I'm hearing just last night and having some conversations with allies of President Biden. Heard an F-bomb. Heard somebody describe themselves as pretty pissed. Drip, drip, drip. Amateur hour at the White House from one member who is extremely frustrated with the way, not the issue itself, right? Not the underlying issue, but with the way that this has been handled, pointing to the fact that, listen, Republicans just spent the last week, right, a week ago, which also felt like an eternity the week before, struggling to simply elect a Speaker of the House. This should have been a week where Democrats were on offense, and instead they are way on defense.
You're going to be with the president tomorrow. You going to say anything to him?
I'm going to say Happy King Day, but aside from that, no, I think that this has been handled in a way that's embarrassing. I think Senator Stabenow said. But I think that the Republicans ought to be careful that this does not politically start turning against them, in the sense that as you continue to compare what Trump did and what Biden did around classified documents, it can really end up being something that Biden's base can become energized by, because a lot of people are going to say, wait a minute, this only spells out more clearly how egregious what Trump did was.
Mark, what do you think this means for Trump?
I think that it's impossible for the Biden administration to prosecute Trump at this point. I think what Americans are frustrated about is the continued double standard that they see at Department of Justice, and I don't see how they would continue forward.
Do you think Garland at least attempted to, do you think he's doing his best to try to essentially push back at that narrative?
Oh, I don't know. I think the reality is that the facts here is that they discovered this in November. Why did they hold it? Why didn't anybody talk about it? Is it because of the midterm elections they didn't want to interfere with? And this was 6 years ago. This wasn't from his time as president, it was from his time as vice president of the United States. It's like the Biden administration decided the 12 days of Christmas weren't enough for Republicans. They want to keep it going as long as they can.
Hallie, it does seem as if it matters what these documents are, doesn't it? That might matter.
Oh, for sure. And I think that matters on both sides of the aisle. The key thing that I keep hearing in conversations over the last even 24 hours is what matters is national security, right? And I think there is an acknowledgement. And frankly, I don't know that there is unanimity in the Republican Party. I've had conversations with at least one Republican member who said, hey, I'm not going to get on Joe Biden for self-reporting here. We should be encouraging that, right? People to come forward if they do, setting aside the issue of the transparency thing and how they responded, et cetera. But you are going to continue to see more investigations. I think you will try to see Republicans seek to link these investigations to other investigations. For example, is there some Hunter Biden connection, et cetera? That's something that is
important. I would think the fear is, Reverend Sharpton, is that somehow Garland decides, I better move Hunter Biden into a special counsel at this point.
Right? I think that becomes the fear, but I think, again, you'd have to deal with whether Hunter Biden, any of these allegations even involves the president and how that plays out. If it does not involve the president, I think it becomes a different ballgame as to why he would even entertain that. But I think the real problem here goes to intent. And I think that is where the Republicans are going to have a problem.
Mark, you have a vested interest in how this sort of impacts the 2023 version of the presidential race, right? The sort of the invisible primary part. How do you think both of these investigations, does it paralyze things? Does it slow announcements down? What's your sense?
I honestly don't think it does impact much of the 23-24 cycle. I do think there's a lot of other reasons that is probably frozen where it is right now. But I do think that, it's an indication of how seriously the Biden administration takes it. I don't know if having your classified documents next to your Corvette somehow makes it safer. Yeah. But the fact that the very next day, Janet Yellen is putting out warning signs about the debt ceiling, when most of us anticipated that was going to happen much later, months from now, I think there's a clear indication they're definitely trying to change the topic.
Hallie, that felt a bit clumsy. So, I mean, it felt pretty obvious to me what they were trying to do.
Well,
quickly, let's do a narrative that they don't like.
At the same time, there's a real concern about that, right? I mean, like
in June.
Yeah, right. But like also, you got to start. What I've heard is you got to start thinking about and working on that now, so that when it comes to June, it's not a complete, hot mess, if you will.
Very quickly, Mike Pence pretty definitive on calling what Brazil did basically an homage to January 6th. Pretty concerning to him.
Well, Chuck, I think if you recall on that day when the Secret Service tried to evacuate him, the reason he said, I'm not going to evacuate is because I don't want the world to see this is what happens to the hallmark of democracy. It's why he stayed in the Capitol that day. And it's why, if you continue that interview, he also said what he was pleased about is the world saw America complete its business that night and make sure we protect democracy that day, too.
Speaking of protecting democracy, it's King Day tomorrow. And this year is the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington. You've got something you're up to.
Tomorrow we'll be announcing at our annual National Action Network King Day breakfast here in Washington, and President Biden is the keynote speaker, that we're going to call for a March on Washington 60th anniversary. Martin Luther King III, Andrea King, and I, National Action Network and Drum Major Institute. We've seen a spike in hate crimes against blacks, against Jews, against Latinos, Asians, Native Americans, unlike we've seen in the last couple of decades. And we want to have a unified march against hate crimes, against those that should enforce the criminality of it, and show a real unison among different groups that have become the victims.
So you're hoping to make this multi-ethnic, multicultural, multi-religious,
Absolutely.
You name it, right?
Across the board, which was Dr. King's dream. We really need to deal with hate crime, and we need to really deal with the lack of equality on how we prosecute them.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.